I'm working with This Calls for Confetti today and some of their gorgeous new products, and we're going to use them to make a super sweet scrapbook page. Hey, it's Beth. Welcome. Today I have some This Calls for Confetti products. This is, a couple of them are from their new Alice's Story line. Honeysuckle, and there's a really sweet story on the back of the Honeysuckle stamp set and the coordinating die that talk about her mom and the love of honeysuckle, and we'll kind of talk more about the story a little bit later, but you've got the honeysuckle flowers and vine, and then some sentiments that can go along with it. So it's kind of versatile, like just because there is a happy birthday, happy Mother's Day, thank you, or you can just do sweet as honeysuckle on the vine. And then they have the coordinating die set, which cuts out everything that is on the stamp set. So those are always nice. And then some other new products they have that aren't necessarily the honeysuckle line, but they are some cool dies to play with. So this is a frame die set. So you have the outer frame, which is the size of an A2 card, and then kind of an inner oval that has a little bit of a embossing detail on it, and then hello. And then this one just has all kinds of rectangular dies. Again, the largest one is pretty much an A2 card size. And you've got matting layers that go down from there. You've got some sentiment strips that you can cut with this. And then happy, this does cut the rectangular with the letters that pop out, but then you also get the letters, so you can use it either way. So we are going to use these three items on our scrapbook page today and do some stamping, some coloring, some die cutting, and some memory keeping. So let's jump on in. So I am making a 12 by 12 layout, just starting with a basic white base page. The photos are of my youngest daughter when she started kindergarten, and she was just so cute. And we had some other friends that got off the bus at our house, and her and the little boy, Ryan, would walk and hold hands and carry their bags for each other. So it was just super sweet. So I thought it would be perfect for the sweet honeysuckle. So I'm just kind of using the stamps and the dies to kind of lay things out how I envisioned the layout to go. And then I'm going to use my MISTI to stamp the honeysuckle and the vines, just so I can get a clear, dark image. I grew up, we had a lot of honeysuckle in a little wooded area next to our yard, so I do love the sweet smell of honeysuckle. And that is one thing that the story talks about on the back of the stamp and die set, is that how Alice, Lisa's mother, when they were growing up, would use honeysuckle to kind of decorate their home and just bring in some nature and beauty and, sweet smelling scent. I've finished. I decided to do 2 of the flowers, and then I'm going to do 2 of the vines as well, but I switched from black ink to green for the vines because I had envisioned on, kind of creating a corner frame with the honeysuckle flowers and the vines and using 2 of each. So I have that blank space in between the 2 vines, so I decided I can go ahead and do some of my words, and am now using a yellow ink for honeysuckle and love. The honeysuckle will be part of my title, and then the love will just be kind of an embellishment somewhere on my page. Now that I have everything stamped up, I'm going to go ahead and color in my vines, just some really basic coloring. So this is sped up. The markers I have don't blend very well, So I'm not trying to necessarily blend. I'm just kind of doing a two-tone leaf on the vines. And the color that I stamped the vines in coordinates really well with the two colors that I chose. So there are a few leaves here on the honeysuckle stems as well. And so I'm going to color those in green the exact same way I did the vine. And then I will move on to the flowers. So I did 2 colors of green, and I've got 3 colors of yellow that, even though these markers don't blend super well, I am going to kind of overlap them so you do get kind of a sense of shading, just to bring some depth to the flowers. So I know honeysuckles are white and yellow, and then obviously you have the green vine. And so I just kind of, since I'm doing this all on white cardstock, I just decided to focus on the yellows. And then I'm going to be pulling in some yellow and green cardstock into my layout as well, just to kind of carry those colors through and add some more pops of color. Moving on to my final color here. This is just kind of like a lighter, brighter yellow, because the other colors I had were a little darker, and realized I missed that flower right there with the second color. So I was just trying to brighten it up a little bit, and then at least make the tips a little bit lighter and brighter. And then once I finished coloring, I can go ahead and use the amazing coordinating dies to die cut everything out. So I've got my flowers there that I've die cut, the words, and then I also used the rectangular frame dies to cut out some rectangles that I will use to layer under my photos. So now I'm just stamping out Sweet As and On the Vine on a scrap of that yellow cardstock, and then we'll use the coordinating dies to cut those out. And then I also found some white cardstock that I cut out with one of the rectangular shapes, and we'll use that for my journaling. So I am applying adhesive to the back of my photos so that I can kind of lay them down at the same time and line them up how I wanted, and realized I wanted to go ahead and cut those. I used the largest rectangle, so like the A2 size rectangle, but I wanted to cut them in half because I'm going to kind of piece them together so it looks like in a couple places they are a continuous strip. But I wanted to get those cut in half before I pressed my photos down, because I want to slide them underneath my photos. So the green, I am putting a piece at the top, kind of that, more along that right-hand photo. I'm putting a piece at the top and the bottom so it looks like a longer strip going through. And then the yellow, I'm going to kind of accent the corners a little bit on the top left and the bottom right. And I wanted it layered under the photo and the green cardstock there on the bottom right. So this is one reason why I like tape runner for certain things, because you, as long as you don't press it down, you can still like layer things underneath. Now I have all of the pieces that I die cut, and I'm just kind of trying to arrange them. I fiddle with this quite a bit, but trying to arrange them. And then I'm going to use just the letters from that happy rectangular strip. And, I was trying to keep them straight and move them around, and finally just said, okay, we're going to go with it until we glue it down. It's fine. I get the idea. So I kind of have everything where I want it to go. So I'm going to go ahead and start gluing some of it down. So my title is going to be Happy and Sweet as Honeysuckle on the Vine, because Avery was very happy to start kindergarten and, felt like such a big girl. And then, she just looked so cute in her dress and her pigtails. And then when she would walk and hold hands with Ryan, it was so cute and so sweet. So I thought that both of those elements created a perfect title. I'm going to kind of overlap my flowers up on that top right corner a little bit. Again, just trying to create kind of a corner frame. And then we'll shift down to the bottom left there, trying to arrange those. And then I decided I wanted to go ahead and get those happy letters down so that they wouldn't get lost and get moved around too much. Using my reverse tweezers to hold them and adding some glue to the back of each letter. I brought in my T-square because I was trying to line them up with the top of that yellow cardstock piece in the top left, but the letters kind of overlapped a little bit. So I just wanted to make sure that I didn't start to droop once they got off to the right of the cardstock. So I just brought in my T-square to kind of give myself a level plane there to lay my letters down on top of. So once I get the letters down, I'm also going to go ahead and put the hearts down. And there is a heart stamp and die in the die and stamp set, but I just used the die with some of the scrap yellow cardstock that I had. So I decided to stamp another of the honeysuckle stems and colored them up, but I'm only using the flower. I wanted to bring some of that yellow and the flowers down into the bottom left corner as well. So I'm just going to layer the flower parts kind of behind the stems so it just looks like there's more flowers on a vine down there. So I'm going to layer the stems first and just not gluing the very top of the stem where I know I'm going to put the flowers behind, and then kind of arrange my flowers again and then get them glued down as well. And then we'll finish gluing down the stems. And then I'm going to use that love piece kind of there at the bottom on the green cardstock. And then I'm going to do some quick journaling. And basically I'm just saying what I told you earlier, that Avery was, she was so happy to start kindergarten and be in school. And her and Ryan were so cute together when they would get off the bus. And then I'm going to add the date kind of along that left side of that left photo there. And then I didn't want to have to bring in any other letters, so I just used a Papermate flare pen that's a little bit wider to write "and" so that my title would be complete. And I forgot to show them at the beginning of the video, but This Calls for Confetti also sent me the honeysuckle mix from the Alice's Story line. All of these products will be linked below for you. These were a lot of fun to play with, so a big thank you to This Calls for Confetti for allowing me to play with them and share the sweet story. So I'm just taking some of the confetti mix. There's like a yellow, gold, and some white and some off-white. I'm just using the sequence really, there's some beads in there as well. And I'm just kind of scattering them around with some green hearts that I also cut out of some of the scrap green. And then my layout will be complete. So I also used the other die set, the Layered Hello die set, to create a card with the honeysuckle and the hello sentiment. So here's a final look at my layout. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please be sure to check out the Alice's Story line from This Calls for Confetti. Thank you guys so much for your time today, and I hope you all have a very crafty day.